And lastly, question 10. Define the demand curve and distinguish between demand and quantity demanded. Define the supply curve and distinguish between supply and quantity supplied. Define equilibrium in an economics context. A statement such as a balance is insufficient. Okay. So demand refers to the relationship between price and quantity demanded. So we're just going to draw demand over here. This is Q. This is price. Demand refers to the relationship between price and the quantity of the product or service that people want at each price. It should be thought of as the demand curve, which is what we drew over here. Quantity demanded refers to one particular point on the demand curve, how much of the product is demanded at one particular price. It is a horizontal distance between the vertical axis and the demand curve. So basically, quantity demanded is just referring to one point over here. We'll just call this Q1, and at a specific price, P1. This point over here is the quantity demanded at this specific price. This quantity demanded would not be the same at another price over here. You would have a different quantity demanded. And the demand curve is simply just this that shows the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. And quantity demanded is a specific point on a demand curve at one specific quantity and at one specific price. And then question 2, define the supply curve and distinguish between supply and quantity supplied. The supply curve refers to the relationship between prices and quantity of this product supplied at each prices. Quantity supplied refers to one particular point on the supply curve and how much the product is supplied at that one particular price. So again, much like the demand curve, supply curve would look this way because it has a positive relationship with price. Quantity supplied has a positive relationship with price, meaning as price goes up, so does quantity supplied. So this is our supply curve right here. And quantity supplied would be a specific point on the supply curve that a number of units are supplied at a specific price. And again, at that price, at another price over here. Ooh. Oh, I can do that. I didn't know I could do that. Let's say another price over here. It's a different quantity supplied. And that's basically it. So the supply curve is this curve that shows the relationship between price and quantity supplied. And the quantity supplied is a specific point on the supply curve at a specific price. And finally, equilibrium is the stable conditions in which all significant factors remain more or less constant over a period, and there is no inherent tendency to change. The equilibrium in an economic market is often desired but rarely achieved because of the tumultuous nature of the market. The balancing effect of supply and demand results in a state of equilibrium. Oops. And if we draw that out, so first of all, that's a correct explanation. If we draw that out, the equilibrium, we have our supply curve over here, our demand curve over here. This is quantity, this is price. The point at which they intersect, or also known as the balancing effect of supply and demand, is our equilibrium. So there's only one equilibrium in this graph, and that's just when supply and demand intersect with each other, meaning the suppliers, this is the optimal quantity supplied. There's no shortage or there's no surplus. So a shortage would be if there's more demand than quantity supplied, which would be anywhere here. Call this a shortage. And the surplus is if there's more quantity supplied than demanded, and this would be a surplus. But the equilibrium point is right over here in the middle where supply intersects demand, where the two curves intersect with each other. And that's it. So say this is correct. And that's it for this session of questions. So thank you for taking the time to go over some of these questions with me. And we encourage you to keep on submitting your questions if you need help with your economics homework, if you have an interest in economics, or if you just are trying to learn more about economics. Please look at the link in the description below, and we should be able to help you. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.